Welcome to Portage County Matters. I'm Patty Dreier, Portage County Executive. Welcome to the show. What we're going to do today is we're going to talk about tourism in Portage County and central Wisconsin, and there's a great story to be told here with the help of some staff out of the Stevens Point Area Convention and Visitors Bureau. But before that, I just have one announcement, and that is, as of the week of the taping of this show on the 20th of July, I have given my 7th State of the County address. That was on Tuesday night, the 18th, at the Portage County Board of Supervisors meeting. You can access a copy of that speech on our county's website. We'll have the address at the bottom of the screen. In addition to that, you can also watch the video, listen on the video if you would like, and you can see a video of the speech as well as the full county board meeting, and all of our county board meetings are at the same place, and that is at the City of Stevens Point website, thanks to the work of our folks here in the City of Stevens Point that manage the station that puts on this show, as well as the other video supports for our community and our radio station out of the City of Stevens Point. So John Quirk, I want to say thank you to you. But anyway, the videos are located on a tab on the left side of the screen when you pull up the City of Stevens Point's website, and then you'll be able to scroll all the way down and you'll get to the Portage County Board of Supervisors. So I really do hope that you look up that speech and see what is the great news about Portage County, that we're making some great momentum when it comes to workforce attraction and retention and economic growth in Portage County. So now I would like to introduce my guests. I've got Melissa Sabel. She's our Director of Marketing out of the Stevens Point Area Convention and Visitors Bureau, which we sometimes abbreviate C.V.B.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, glad that you're here. I have known you a number of years and just admire you a great deal for your work and your inspiration and your vision about how we can make Portage County even more marketable. And I think that the tourism element ties in very nicely with the theme of my speech related to workforce retention
Absolutely.
And attraction. For people sometimes try us out when they're tourists and then realize, oh my goodness, I wouldn't mind living there.
Absolutely. That quality of life component is definitely a huge draw when you talk tourism in a region.
So talk about the C.V.B., the Convention and Visitors Bureau here in our Stevens Point area, and really define the area for us and then what you do as Director of Marketing there.
Sure. So the Stevens Point Area Convention and Visitors Bureau has been in existence for over 30 years, and our mission is to promote the region. And again, Stevens Point area means all of Portage County, and we promote the region as an attractive destination for travel. And so that means a wide variety of different things. The traveler markets here in the Stevens Point area, we kind of focus on 4 different things. One is that leisure market. Those are the people coming in as families, exploring the area. It could be folks coming in to tour UWSP, different touch points, but those are the more onesie, twosie types of folks coming into the community.
So leisure, what did you call it?
Leisure.
Okay, so just a leisure focus area for
Yes.
number 1 out of, you said 4?
Yes.
Okay.
And leisure is actually our number 1 growing sector for bringing people into the region. The second is really sports, and that could be tournaments and events that are being hosted, everything from NCAA hosting their basketball women's championships here on the UWSP campus to some of the over 100 local youth and amateur sports organizations that host tournaments, events throughout the year that bring in teams of people from outside of the area.
Okay.
So that certainly has a multiplier effect, which enhances what our area has to offer when it comes to the tourism economic impact. The next is meeting and convention market.
Sure.
And so those are folks that are traveling into the region for a meeting, convention, board retreat, some sort of function. And one of the things that makes the region so popular for that is, again, our central location for statewide associations and organizations. So definitely seeing a lot of growth and really a great market here in the Stevens Point area for that, especially with some of the great facilities we have to offer.
And I just want to insert, before you get to your 4th item, that the Wisconsin Urban Forestry Council, I'm an appointee on that council,
absolutely.
will be coming next month, actually on September 1st, I should say, will be coming on September 1st to have its statewide meeting here. So believe me, a lot of us are very fortunate to be able to help organize those local those local organizing events, if you would, those local rallies and other educational events, so that we can showcase our community at the same time as we deal with statewide issues.
Right, and I think even more important is that local connection. Even thinking back last year, we hosted, as you're aware, the Isaac Walton League National Convention here in Stevens Point, Wisconsin.
What a
It was
blast.
the first time that I came to Central Wisconsin. We were so happy to host it. But those things happen because of the local connections to those organizations that we have right here. So if anyone is interested in bringing their organization to bring an event, it doesn't need to be a huge national convention. It could be a small board meeting or another event that they hold throughout the year. Let our office know. We will be happy to help bid on those events that come in. And again, the meeting to convention market has that multiplier effect that you see with sports, where you're bringing in 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe even 800 people for a couple days into the community. So, and again, it's one of those things that local population probably doesn't really realize that is here unless you drive past the Holiday Inn or Century World and notice the parking lots are full.
Truly. And then what was that fourth? So we had leisure, help me remember. Then we had the sports, and then we had the conventions and other meetings and conventions. So what's the fourth item?
Absolutely. The fourth is the group tourism market. So these are more the motor coach planners that are bringing tour groups. And we actually partner with the Wisconsin Rapids and Marshfield area C.V.Bs with Wood County to kind of partner both Portage and Wood counties together as a destination. Excellent. So a lot of favorite tours in that realm are agritourism themed or industry tours where they want to get out and see what's being made locally and doing things that they can't do anywhere else.
Excellent. I just came across an event on the social media that had to do with a kind of a preview of the Studios tour, the art aspect that ties with the Ice Age Trail each year. So in October, we have the Art Studios tour along the Ice Age Trail, which is phenomenal. The Ice Age Trail is an organization I used to be on the board of years ago at the state board, and it just really believe in this highlighting our glacial heritage through a 1,000-mile footpath. And then when we started to put the art element combined with the hike-a-thons in our area, wow, that blew it out of the water for me. And now I see they're doing a preview of certain art over in Port Edwards at one of the art houses. I forget the name of it. It's a place I haven't been yet, but I'm definitely going to be going. So artists from our community are getting their art in over there, and then that will be a preview to the tourism market for October. So now there's linkages across these events, which is even more cool.
Right, and from a marketing perspective, it's those types of partnerships that really strengthen making those connections. And for me personally, that's what makes it exciting, because if you are trying to reach somebody, they might like arts, but also outdoor recreation, and some of the assets that we have here tie beautifully to that.
So talk about where we've come from and then where we are today. I saw some cool statistics about our performance from a tourism standpoint last year in 2016. So as we kind of get up into that story and the millions of dollars of impact, positive impact to our community, talk about where did we come from the old Holidome days?
Sure. So we've grown quite a bit, obviously 30 years of plus of history of promoting the region. So obviously in 30 plus years, the community has also seen a lot of growth and change. So watching and following through that, it was at the point that the Holidome at that time, the Ramada, was closing. We were losing about 23% of our guest room occupancy. From a travel and tourism perspective, to lose a quarter of your option for occupancy for all of Portage County at that point was quite a kind of uneasy time. We weren't sure how we were going to be able to move forward and what we were going to do. Up until that point, we really marketed the area as Convention Central, with both the Holidome property and the new Holiday Inn that opened in 2005, and Century World and a number of other meeting venues throughout the region. We weren't sure that that was who we were anymore. So what we did is we collected a group of stakeholders. It ended up being, I think, 46 people that all gathered together, and we did a strategic planning session.
I remember that.
Yes, it was a great session. It
really was
eye-opening. We had everyone from all of the markets that we already described today, and really kind of took a hard look at who we are, where we need to go, where we've been, and how can we project into the future and see growth. Since then, we have seen phenomenal growth, and I really kind of pin back to that original strategic planning session. That really gave us the impetus to move forward and see that growth. So as you mentioned, there's been phenomenal growth. Portage County tourism expenditure numbers soared. In 2016, again, we saw an increase of over 4%, and we saw $124.7 million being spent by travelers in Portage County.
Wow.
Phenomenal.
We'll take
Phenomenal.
it.
Absolutely. That ranks us. So if you're wondering, for the state of Wisconsin, there's 72 counties. We rank number 23. So really great placement for the state. As a whole, the state saw $20 billion and saw a 3% increase. So when comparing Portage County to other neighboring counties here in central Wisconsin, we were the ones with the largest increase for 2016. So that's great again. And we look back to, other things too that are economic drivers of sorts. We're always looking at key performance indicators and benchmarking to see where are we moving the needle. And tourism spending, while it's a phenomenal number, isn't the only thing that we're watching. During the last 5-year period, from 2012 to 2017, we have seen an increase in room tax collections throughout Portage County of more than 30%. So we know that dollars are coming in heavier form in that way. And the really important takeaway for that is that the state of Wisconsin also released that for every $1 spent on tourism marketing, $8 are returned to the community. So it's really important that those tourism dollars are spent for promotion and development appropriately, so we can kind of fuel that fire so we can continue to see economic growth in that way.
Wow. We're talking to Melissa Sabel. She's the Director of Marketing with our Stevens Point Area Convention and Visitors Bureau. Melissa, wow, you have to be proud of your organization's momentum, positive momentum, forward movement. And I have watched it. I have not been a bystander, but have been part of joining with the C.V.B. and supporting it as county executive here, and as our county continues, even just small amounts of dollars that we can give out of our non-county agency line item in the budget to help a little bit, I should say, the momentum in and around all of the other things that county government needs to cover. I have to just tell you, we are very pleased with the return on investment, and the people of Portage County have so much to be proud of when it comes to the showcase that we have become and what we continue to do to not rest on our laurels,
right,
but to keep looking at where do we need to go and how do we maintain the integrity and the traditional values while we reach a little bit and invite a little bit and grow a little bit to be able to bring in new folks that can experience us all over again.
Right, and I think the big takeaway from your point exactly is that, our organization has seen phenomenal growth, and we've seen lots of leaps and bounds in the last 5 years specifically as we continue to market the region. However, the biggest point of difference to me is the community really taking ownership and being a part of that. All of the partnerships that we have, when I talked about the 4 target markets and all of the people that we work with in those specific target markets to make sure that we have the infrastructure here. And then beyond that, it's making sure that we are looking at how is the community ready to support new endeavors. When you look at what's changed and what's been added, even in the last 5 to 10 years, the community assets have grown so much. And it's those people taking that leap of faith and having that entrepreneurial spirit to go out and try something new that the visitors are loving and the residents are loving as well, that really make the difference.
And as I said in my State of the County address, when we're looking at attracting and retaining our workforce to fill the gap with a shortage time frame that we're in right now, the labor shortage experience these days, this is huge, because even just recently I am thinking about a certain recruitment of a certain key staff member in Portage County that'll be joining our team soon. And when you take a look at where they're coming from and why they want to come here, we really do have so much going for us. So that's important to be able to fill the critical positions that need to be filled in organizations, businesses, government to be able to offer the quality of services and programs and oversight that our community also needs to have.
Right, and it's really great from our perspective to be able to see that firsthand when we're often tapped for community tours to showcase what the area has to offer with new recruits or potential employees that are coming into the region, whether it's for a large employer or small employer, if people are reaching out to us and we get to talk to those folks and what do they want to see. And so that's really great insight that helps us know how to promote and what to promote as well.
So Melissa, I understand that you're working on some intercept surveys. I learned a little bit about it, but I would like you to tell everybody more about how are we continuing to gather the data that's going to help us continue to refine our programs.
Sure. So I touched on a little bit earlier the strategic plan that really kind of set into motion now over 5 years ago how we're going to move forward. And now what we're looking at doing is kind of taking that one step further and diving deeper to get more actual data, more data-driven approach. We have lots of anecdotal information about what our favorite things are and the feedback that we get from visitors who are currently coming. But we just embarked on a year-long brand perception study that actually is being funded in part by a Wisconsin Department of Tourism joint effort marketing grant to the tune of $30,000. And so for the next year, we'll be collecting intercept surveys, but that's really phase one. That's a way for us to gauge what do locals and visitors alike think our strengths and weaknesses are in the community. What do they like? What do they look for? Where are they traveling from? Very basic information to help kind of set out a framework. The next phase, next second and third phase for the research study will also be conducting additional surveys looking for more information. And so we're kind of breaking it out. We want to know what the residents think. We want to know what potential travelers think, people who have visited here before and have a relationship with the Stevens Point area or Portage County. And then also we want to know from people who don't have any knowledge of the Stevens Point area, what do they think about it? What words do they associate with it?
How
and what do
interesting.
they think, what is their perception of it if they don't have any frame of reference? So we're kind of breaking it down into different pillars, if you will,
Sure.
for that information. And again, up until this point, we've conducted research studies in the past, specifically for sports or meetings, but this is really the biggest study we've ever embarked on that really covers all of the umbrellas at the same time. So I'm really excited about it. We've started our hope for the intercept surveys is that we'll be working with local partners here within the region. So we've been everywhere from Riverfront Rendezvous to the Levitt Amp Music Series to PJ's Live to Suzuki, which is going on actually right now, their survey intercepting at the university campus. So just trying to find those touch points for where visitors are. In fact, this last weekend we were also at Point Fast Pitch's tournament, as well as the Portage County Youth Soccer Classic, which is going on. So we want to touch multiple entry points to the community. So if anyone is listening and they're interested in partnering with us or being a survey location or an intercept point, please reach out and let our office know. We'd be more than happy to work with them.
What's your phone number, Melissa?
Sure. Our phone number is 715-344-2556. And our website, which has more of our contact information, including emails, is stevenspointarea.com.
Excellent. So our campgrounds, Portage County Parks have lovely campgrounds, highly sought after spots to spend some vacation time here in central Wisconsin. How do you interact with our county park campgrounds and other parks in general in some of your tourism intercept work as well as other outreach work?
Well, right now we're working with Gary, obviously the Parks Director for Portage County, and he's been a great asset and a great partner to work with for just knowing all the things that go on behind the scenes for the Portage County Parks, because the sheer number of them is fantastic. We get feedback all the time about Standing Rocks County Park or Lake Emily or Jordan, and the ease of accessibility and the cost for people to go out and enjoy those natural spaces throughout Portage County is phenomenal. phenomenal. So more details to come on how we're going to be conducting intercept surveys at the Portage County campgrounds specifically. I think right now the most recent conversation was along the lines of potentially using the reservation system that's collecting data already,
great.
that maybe we can just ask a couple other options, or ask people if they're interested in being contacted for a follow-up survey or something along those lines.
Oh, that's a great idea. It really is.
We really, our whole purpose for obviously we want the data, but we also don't want to alienate people and don't want to make anyone uncomfortable.
Right.
So that's always our approach. So, and for any of the survey locations, we are also giving away some thank you items, if you will. So everything from fidget cubes to bottle koozies to, I think we also have USB car chargers, just small items as a way to say thank you for giving us your time and your insights.
So Melissa Sabel, Director of Marketing at the Stevens Point Area Convention and Visitors Bureau, what are you most proud of when it comes to our work and marketing our community? What are you most proud of?
Gosh, that's a big question. Honestly, I think it comes down to the relationships that have been forged, kind of going back to what we were talking about before, and how that just strengthens the community that we have here. Obviously, we're very lucky to have a community that we can promote so many things. We have no shortage of things to talk about, and I'm always reminded of that when I'm working with an entity, or whether it's public relations or a travel writer or a media outlet, as I'm talking about the community. And I always run out of time before I get to fit everything in. And I'm always reminded by the voice on the other end that that's a wonderful problem to have, because we have so many things, and that you can't just come here in one day or a weekend or a week for those folks who are here for Suzuki, and see everything and do everything. And that continues to grow as we see additional entrepreneurs and different business ventures start out here in the community. So that to me is probably a huge, probably the most exciting thing from my perspective. I also collect every year the what's new, if you will. And so I'm always sending that on to our public relations partners, whether it's at the State Department of Tourism or other media outlets. And everyone's always interested in what's new and what's coming. And so when I never have a shortage of things to talk about, so it's exciting.
Great. So the question everybody that's listening to the show or watching the show is going to ask, Melissa, what's new? What would you answer that to be right now?
Sure. Well, the newest things, I'm always blown away at the sheer number of new restaurants that are opening.
Yes.
And so I think opening very soon is a new vegetarian-themed restaurant called the Wicked Willow in downtown Stevens Point. So that's going to be really exciting. That's going to be taking over the place where Lemongrass Noodle House is. Agriculture, as you know, is huge in Portage County. So another thing that I would like to add is
Feltz.
Absolutely.
Feltz store, that's
Yes.
right.
So, and we had the joy of working with the Feltz family very closely, and the Jaczeski family, when we hosted the Portage County Farm Technology Days in 2014. So that was a great event, got us a way to kind of dive a little deeper into that ag tourism side. And now we're seeing a huge growth of that when things, obviously Feltz Dairy Store, but also the expansion of things like the Central Rivers Farm Shed and the Winter Farmers Market that they started last year, and also the pizza nights now at White Feather Organics, and the farm tours. And so that list continues to grow in our community. So it's wonderful to see that as well.
Very cool. I was just, you made me think when you mentioned Farm Technology Days, and we know what a huge event that was in 2014. And I know that your organization, and you specifically, and Sarah and me and Bud Flood and a few others were really involved in going down and to the state and marketing to try to get that event to come to Portage County.
Right.
And to highlight the vegetable growing industry and not just dairy alone,
Right.
which has been its tradition for so many decades before. And that behind us, I just happened to be looking at the statistics. I've got a graph of our tourism spending.
Oh, sure.
You know, the inputs to our community through tourism from 2011 to 2016, and how it's such a lovely climb. Oh my goodness, such a lovely climb. And so, as you had mentioned, we have almost $125 million in 2016. That was tourism spending in our area. In 2014, with Farm Technology Days, those 3 days, which was a blockbuster year, it was 111 or 100, almost 112 million. So you and your colleagues and all of the other businesses and organizations and people, and through the relationships we have, this is so cool. We have grown another $10 million plus since then. Truly, that's amazing.
It's phenomenal. It's absolutely phenomenal, and it's not just that indicator going up, and we're watching all of the other things grow by leaps and bounds. So it's validation that the direction we're moving is in the right direction. So that's again why I'm really excited about this brand perception study, to really dive deeper and to know exactly what it is that's getting somebody to decide to travel here, or what brings them back year after year.
And it's all seasons. We don't want to forget that part in this. I even look at our capital plan and what we're planning for Standing Rocks Park, for a tubing hill for winter.
Yes.
And some of the other opportunities. I know last winter, folks were coming from Outagamie County and other places to ski in our area here, because they just didn't have snow sticking over there at all. And we were very fortunate. Now we have about 3 minutes left in the show, Melissa, and you have earned a prestigious award in the United States, and I just wonder if you could share that with us a little bit.
Sure. I was selected as a 30 under 30 for Destination Marketing Association International, and so I was selected about 6 years ago and got to go to their international convention as an honored delegate on behalf of tourism industry on a global scale. And it was absolutely such an honor to be recognized in that way, to sit in a group of my peers from, again, across the globe. I, in fact, met somebody that had won the 30 under 30 from Australia and Malaysia, and it was just phenomenal. It was a phenomenal experience, and I felt so honored to be able to be in the tourism industry and to be able to do some of the things that we get to do here in Portage County.
And Portage County is very fortunate in the reverse scenario to have a young professional such as yourself that is of the caliber of Melissa Sabel and working for us, all of us together here in our county, and it means a great deal. So thank you for that, and your whole team, I know, is totally behind you.
Well, thank you. We're small but mighty with four full-time staff. So there's a lot of things that a lot of folks don't know that we do that kind of seem to just happen within the community, but they're definitely things that we take pride in doing every day.
And to your board of directors, I know that they're great leaders in our community who help to shape and keep the organization moving forward. It's easy to think about just those on the front line and forget that it takes the organizational supports in the background that also make it work and have the funding strategies and everything else that it's going to take to be able to make it work for visitor and tourism work in our area.
Right.
So let's recap. We have 4 specific pillars of tourism-related focus areas for Portage County. Let's see if I can remember. I'm going to give it my best.
It's a quiz.
We have leisure, the leisure market. We have the sports market. We have meetings and conventions. And help me on the last one again. Group. It's too simple of a word. And the groups, like the motor coach kind of groups, travel groups. And so as we put that together, we make a really big difference for Portage County's economy, but also our quality of life continues to be improved through that work, because people are excited about showing off what we've got going for us here in Portage County. And so thank you for being part of that, Melissa. And thanks to our C.V.B. We'll see you next time on Portage County Matters.